So I'm back with another very impressive clone. There's a lot of aspects about this one that still shock me. Been testing it for a good while here. It's Afnan's 9PM. So we've probably heard a little bit about this one. I've been having it highly requested in my comments, people wanting me to check this one out. It came out in 2020, so it is a couple years old now, but still in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively new. So we're going to dive into this one today. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, and how it compares to Ultra Male. So yeah, we've got an Ultra Male clone in the house. I've got something in my eye. I think I'm good. Hopefully I'm good. I'll take care of that. And then we'll get on with the review of Afnan 9PM. So if you guys go way back on my channel, you would know that Ultra Male has always been a fragrance that has been around. I've done full videos on this one, full reviews, that sort of thing. I might have even done a 10 reasons why you should have Ultra Male in your collection, although I can't remember for sure. I've done a buying guide on the whole entire line. It's been featured in a lot of top 10 fall fragrance videos and things of the nature. So it's been a hot topic here on the channel for about maybe going on 5 years now, I believe. It's always been one that I'm a fan of. It's kind of one of those guilty pleasure fragrances. I've touched on this before, but it's something that's so loud and obnoxious and sweet that you typically wouldn't think someone that's heavily into fragrances would like it, but I really do, and I'm not afraid to admit it. One of the main issues with this one is that there is, a whole batch variation conspiracy behind this one. And also, typically, even on discounters, it's still going to be running you closer to that $100 price point. So that's where a clone would come in. Again, this is Afnan 9PM. So I just want to start really quickly with the presentation. I don't normally go over this, but impressive. I pulled this one out of the box for the first time, and just the sheer weight of the bottle alone really kind of is something. It's a very heavy, thick glass. You can hear that, right? It's heavy. It's by far heavier than the actual Ultra Male bottle, and it's heavier than most designer fragrance bottles as well. I haven't put it on a scale. I don't plan to, but I have thousands of fragrance bottles. I hold these literally every single day. At some point you can tell when something is above average in terms of its weight, and this one is. Really heavy, high quality presentation. The cap is also significantly heavy. In fact, that's where a good majority of the weight does come from, and it does click into place. The atomizer is decent. It's not pressurized. It doesn't win any awards with the atomizer. The presentation glass and everything is by far kind of the selling point on that end, but still decent. So let's go and start off with how this fragrance smells. Now, when you first spray it on, right away, you know exactly what it smells like. If you've smelled Ultra Male, you'll be able to pick up on that comparison immediately. There's some fragrances out there, fragrance clones, where when you smell it for the first time, you may have to think about what it reminds you of. And in my opinion, if you have to try to think and rack your brain on what that fragrance smells like, then it's not a very good clone. Not to say it's a bad fragrance, maybe they're trying to go for something different, but when we're talking about accuracy and getting close to the fragrance that they're trying to get close to, if you pick up on it right away, you're off to a good start. So it opens up with a good amount of a fruitiness. Now, when you do take a look at the note breakdown, they don't list pear. They do give you apple, they give you bergamot up top, but no pear. To that note, though, I do get a fruitiness. In this instance, more apple, but the way it comes across with the sweetness, it does kind of resemble a pear. Immediately following that, you get that kind of cinnamon vanilla sweetness that is very common in Ultra Male. So it really does start to go down that path right away. So one thing I have noticed with 9PM, when you first spray it on, it doesn't quite have the exact same amount of sweet depth like Ultra Male does. Again, it is still very sweet when you first spray it on. Again, you get the fruits, you get the cinnamon, vanilla combination, the sweetness, but it doesn't quite have that level of a ultra super syrupy sweetness like Ultra Male does. And to be fair, that's probably a good thing in a lot of instances, because that's one thing that a lot of people really do not like about Ultra Male, is that opening, that severe sweetness. like almost sickly sweet for some people. It might be a little bit hard to replicate. Again, for me, I like that part about Ultra Male, and at the same time, though, I also do appreciate that in this one here, it is toned back a little bit. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the full note breakdown here. We've got apple, cinnamon, lavender, and bergamot up top. We have orange blossom and lily of the valley in the mid, so a nice floral mid, and we'll touch on that. And then vanilla, tonka bean, amber, and patchouli in the base. So some slight differences in the note breakdowns, but you know, a good amount of similarities as well. Like I've touched on before, the note breakdown is kind of something that should be an afterthought, especially when you're looking at clones too, believe it or not, because it really doesn't matter. They could have completely different note breakdowns, but still smell like remarkably similar. So it's kind of one of those things where you just want to take it with a grain of salt. One thing I do notice though throughout the scent is that I do pick up on some of the florals. They're light though, very, very light, just giving it a balance. And same thing with Ultra Male, there has to be that balance. It's kind of where the lavender comes in Ultra Male, and in 9PM as well, there's that lavender note. It's just something to really kind of equal things out, because without it, you would have nothing but sweet, spicy cinnamon fruits, and just all of that and nothing else probably wouldn't make for a great fragrance. So it's kind of nice to have that floral mid, kind of white florals, just very light, very fresh, nothing too overboard. I mean, it's not like a floral fragrance all of a sudden, but it really does help to even things out, and I think it definitely needs it. In terms of the base notes, of course, you get that vanilla, very, very prominent here in this one. Same thing with Ultra Male, you get a ton of vanilla. Tonka bean, a little bit of a kind of dusty, powdery sweetness that you do pick up on coming from that note. And then amber, kind of sweet, a little bit resinous, that sort of thing. I mean, you know, again, we're talking about Ultra Male smell here. Now, one thing I do notice, you know, and one thing that you'll find as you continue to test this one, as you get further and further into the dry down, and I'm getting to that point kind of in the transitioning into the mid where I'm picking up on it, is it really does sweeten up a lot more. It really starts to gain more of that Ultra Male punchiness, so to speak, just that punchy sweetness. Off the opening, you know, it is a little bit more tame. So it's something to keep in mind. You know, give it some time. It's going to be a fragrance that does change. It's not linear, right? It's not like what you spray in the opening is what you're going to get 8 hours later. This one will develop, especially in different weather conditions. So make sure you stick through the life of the scent to fully understand if you like it. But give it some time on your skin, give it 10 minutes, and it really gets some impact. And I think it just gets better as it goes. This one is an eau de parfum. We'll go and touch on performance here. Longevity on my skin has been very, very good. Generally 9 hours. 9.5 for longevity. I seriously can't complain, especially at this price point. I will drop a link for this one down below to where you can get it at the best price. I don't remember exactly what I paid, $30, maybe $40, somewhere around in there. I can't remember for sure. It's 100 milliliters. Again, we're looking at an eau de parfum concentration. A really nice concentration for this one. It allows it to wear a little bit closer to the skin, but also just leave a nice trail, and has a good amount of richness as well. But yeah, 9.5 hours longevity, I can't complain. For a lot of people who struggle with the performance of Ultra Male, this will be your solution, and I'm super glad to be able to say that. Projection is also relatively heavy. You know, for me, it's a fragrance that does better at leaving a trail rather than projecting and filling up a room. Although it will fill up a room if you hit yourself with enough sprays. I mean, you don't want to be that guy unless you're in a situation where there's a bunch of people around and you want to. But for like everyday use or something like that, go relatively easy on it. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Quality is also impressive. I mean, it's smooth from opening to dry down. While it doesn't have like, you know, niche quality, at the same time, it really doesn't smell cheap to me at all. And when you look at Ultra Male, a lot of people automatically compare that one to being synthetic and cheap smelling just because of the amount of sweetness that it has. I mean, this one is kind of right there with Ultra Male in terms of its quality. I mean, it is that spot on. This is an impressive release all the way around, from scent to performance to even presentation. I mean, I understand the hype behind this one, and I'm glad that I've, you know, finally covered it for you guys. I'm also glad just to have it in my collection. I've been testing it now, even though it's been summertime, but come winter, fall and winter, I'm going to be getting my money's worth out of this one. I can't wait. So that's my thoughts on Afnan's 9PM. Impressive, really impressive, man. And even the name, it fits really well. This is a scent that you would wear in the evening as things are starting to, for some people, wind down. But for other people, the night is just beginning, right? It's good for a night where you're going to be out at the bar, at the clubs, doing whatever it is you're doing out and about with a bunch of friends and stuff. This is like, I couldn't think of anything better. So that's going to do it for me. I will drop a link down below so you can get this one for a really good price. Highly encourage you to check this one out. Awesome stuff. And for the price as well, it could be blind buy worthy if you're into sweet stuff. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.